I can't tell you how many women will say that they can't pursue their dreams. They can't pursue their goals because what would that do to their kids? I'm going to tell you right now what it'll do to your kids. It will teach them that their mom can do hard things. It will teach them independence. You'll be their role model. And yes, is there sacrifice? 1,000%. You're the one that gets to determine how much sacrifice there is, but it can't come at your own cost. Ever feel like you're in a constant competition between your career and your husband's patience? Your kids think you work too hard, but hey, you're doing it all for them, right? The struggle is real, and I've been there too. Moments of feeling like a crappy mom and wife because once again, your kids had breakfast on their way to school, and you've got more important things on your plate than cooking and cleaning. Hey there, working moms who are juggling a million things and still wondering if you're doing it right. I'm Veronica Cisneros, and I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, a mama of 3, and married for 24 years. Welcome to the Empowered and Unapologetic podcast, where we dive deep into the messy, chaotic, and sometimes hilarious world of mastering motherhood, marriage, and business. I get it. Balancing it all was never the goal, but here we are, trying anyway. I'm here to share my journey and guide you through yours. No more apologies for being driven, and definitely no compromises on your dreams. Together, we'll navigate the challenges of being a powerhouse in both business and family life. Join me as we tackle the uncomfortable conversations from being the breadwinner to changing the rules of what a marriage looks like. Let's figure out how to parent in a working parent household without the constant arguments or guilt. I'm Veronica Cisneros, and this is Empowered and Unapologetic, where we embrace the chaos, challenge the norms, and strive to live life on our own terms. Get ready for some real talk, actionable tips, and a few laughs along the way. The myth of perfection, embracing imperfection in motherhood. Holy shit. So my sister and I just went out for breakfast, and usually mine and her schedule, it's crazy. You know, she's working, I'm working, she has the day off, I'm working, I have the day off, she's working. It's not a good mix. However, today she took her car in to go get serviced, and she ended up getting a rental. And I needed help because I was taking my car in, and she's like, you got to check out this car. And I was like, well, Leah's going to pick me up. And she goes, wait a minute, I could pick you up. And I'm like, oh my God. Her and I totally freaked out and we're screaming. The kid, Aubrey and Brooklyn, were in the car, and they were laughing at us because we were acting like kids. Like, oh my God. And Aubrey even said, oh my God, my mom said I can go. And she was totally making fun of us because we were so excited that we were going to be able to spend time together. I thought I had a meeting at 8, but the meeting was actually for tomorrow. And so that was even better news because now we had this hour to kill, and we have all of these things we want to do. We have this badass Mercedes, right? And so where are we going to go? Are we both ditching work? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? And so we ended up going out to breakfast. And her and I were really big on making sure we treat each other. And so took her to breakfast. She ended up paying for it, and her and I were literally wrestling, and the clerk was looking at us like we were crazy. But she ended up winning breakfast. I ended up getting these fancy gourmet donuts for both of our families. Why am I telling you all this? Because our discussion was focused on, am I doing it right? Like, am I doing it right? And then why am I pushing myself so hard to get all of these things done? Why can't I celebrate, my wins? She's buying a house, and it will be her second house that she's purchasing, which is like amazing, right? It's so big. She saved up her and her husband saved up so much money. And they were really laser focused on saving, and now they're able to buy the second home. And for her, it's something she's not even really going to celebrate, and it's for a variety of things. You know, she doesn't feel like it's enough. Like, okay, so I bought it. Now what? And we were also talking about our kids and where our kids are at. We're so proud of them, but there's also this great amount of fear. Are they gonna feel accomplished? Are they gonna be successful? Are they gonna be happy? And then we talked about how we were going to identify our own fears and make sure that in the conversations that we have with our kids, it's not our fear that's talking. It's us as a mom who's loving, supportive, encouraging, motivating. It's not that fear talking, which led to our other conversation about why is it not enough? Why do we struggle so much? And we both have really great husbands who love and support us. Why can't we trust that we're safe? Willie and I did a recording last week, and we talked about, you know, mastering marriage, motherhood, and trying to balance it all. And, from a husband's perspective, the things that they can do to really help us. And, Willie kept on saying, it's kind of like I have to stop you from yourself. Like I have to protect you from yourself. And I shared that with my sister. And, we both were talking about, although we have these great, not perfect husbands, although we have these great, great husbands, the other part is, although they provide us with so much security and safety, why is it so difficult for us to sit back and allow it to happen? Why do we feel like we have to take the lead? So, this is why I felt this podcast recording was so important, because embracing imperfection and really redefining motherhood without the myth of perfection is so big. And I really believe this is part of the reason why we we don't stop to celebrate. It's not enough, but when will it be enough? Welcome to today's episode of Empowered and Unapologetic, where we dive into the myth of perfection in motherhood and explore ways to embrace imperfection with self compassion. Oh, it's so hard. And authenticity. I'm your host, Veronica Cisneros, and I'm excited to discuss this empowering topic with you. So, let's start by addressing 5 common myths of perfection in motherhood. Myth number 1, the perfect home. The myth that a perfect home equates to being a perfect mother, leading to unrealistic expectations and unnecessary stress. I'm going to tell you right now, this one I struggled with for so long. I've gotten better at it. I could give two shits. Did I make my bed? No. Is it one of those things that, you know, is a healthy, motivating thing to do? Absolutely. I didn't do it. And you know what? I ain't even going to apologize for it. I'm not going to apologize for it. This is where I'm at. And recognizing that it's okay if there's dishes in the sink. It's okay if my bed's not made. It's okay that my house isn't up to par. But that right there, like, whose expectations am I really trying to meet? Because I'm going to tell you right now, it's not mine. Where is it? So let's think about this for a minute. If you're in the car, if you're working out, or if you just finished yelling at your kids for whatever reason, I want you to pay attention to this for one quick moment. Why is having the perfect home so important? I think about this feeling of having it all together and why it's so important to me. Which then brings me to this next part, control. This is something within my control. If I have a clean house, I'm fine. If I have a clean house, I'm distracted. I'm distracted while I'm cleaning. I'm distracted with doing the dishes and then feeling accomplished or feeling validated after the dishes are done and put away. Feeling validated after the laundry is done and put away. God, that's such the hardest part. I think that's worse than washing, right? Feeling validated by walking into a clean home, especially when everything else feels like a mess. Maybe your weight isn't where you want it to be. Maybe your career is not where you want it to be. Maybe your relationship is not where you want it to be. And so, this drive for the perfect home, you're driving towards the goal of this perfect home, which takes me to this next question. What are you driving away from? What are you trying to avoid? And I want you to sit and ask yourself this question, like, if the goal is to have a perfect home, to achieve some level of balance, what am I driving away from? But Veronica, I just like to have a clean home. No, yeah, me too. Me too. Sign me up. Sign me up. But if that right there is what defines you, if that right there is what identifies you as a mom, you as a wife, you as a human being, homegirl, then we got to check that. We got to check it. Why? Because you might be losing yourself in that. You might be losing yourself in this definition that you try so hard to emulate. The next myth number 2, supermom syndrome, the belief that mothers should do it all effortlessly, from managing a career to running a household and raising children flawlessly. Couldn't even read it. I couldn't even read it because I know it's not true. I know it's not true. I know for a fact I struggle with whether or not I'm a good enough mom. Let me give you a quick example. We're going to Stagecoach this weekend, and we went. The goal was for us to go to Irvine and go shopping, right? So Stagecoach has themed days. So one of the days, and I don't know if I'm saying it in order, but one of those days is Flame Day. Next day is Denim on Denim, and then there's another day. Red, white, and blue day, right? And so all of us, Santa got all of the girls' Stagecoach tickets. So all of us are going, we're going to stay in a hotel. And so we're trying to coordinate our outfits. Well, while we're all in the dressing room, me and the girls are changing. And one of the girls ended up, let me get a drink real quick. Okay, sorry. My mouth was starting to get dry and I need to drink some water. So one of the girls was talking about one of their friends, and their parents are really struggling. And they started talking about um, their friend's um, childhood and the way their parents disciplined and how traumatic it was for these kids. The things that their parents would do, have done, and how it is impacting them now. And they also talked, each one of the girls started to kind of chime in, and they started to talk about, yeah, my friend went through the same thing, or you know my friend doesn't even live with her parents, all of these different scenarios. And I looked at the girls and I asked, well, what are your guys' thoughts about your upbringing? And I don't know if it was Aaliyah or Aubrey, but they're like, oh my God, mom, you know, um, we know. And it's like, well, you know what? And then she started to say, well, most of our friends want to hang out at our house because of the feeling of family. And they kind of looked at me like I was crazy. You guys are probably looking at me like I'm crazy. You're like probably like, what the hell is she talking about? Well, I second guess whether or not I'm a good enough mother, and whether or not Willie and I are good enough parents. And as crazy as that sounds, I really do. I really do. I know I fucked up? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Was that my goal? Never. Never. I've wanted my kids to thrive. I've wanted my kids to, learn and grow, and for me to be that role model. Can I say that I've done it perfectly? Girl, absolutely not. Absolutely not. There are so many things that I, to this day, feel guilty for. One of them, Aaliyah was grounded for a whole year. Yeah, a whole year. I was that mom. Um, I was. I would never do that again. I wasn't a therapist back then. I had no clue. Willie was deployed, and yeah, I could come up with all of these excuses, but the reality is I was so overwhelmed. I was frustrated. I was in my master's program. I had I didn't know how to be a mom. Like I didn't, and I remember I ended up grounding her because she was failing in junior high. And I didn't have Willie to help me because Willie was in war. Like hold up, you're about to shoot. But my daughter needs help with math. Like that's not the thing. It was me. It was 1,000% me. And I had all three girls. And I will honestly say Aaliyah had it the hardest. I remember like it was almost as if like Aaliyah, I already have a lot on my plate. You know this, you see this, and yet you're failing in your classes, you're not turning in your homework. And I remember I grounded her. I took her phone away. And then oh shit, no, that was in high school. I don't know. I One of the two, right? And then I ended up grounding her for a whole year, and then it kept on happening. Aaliyah was not defiant. Aaliyah was not in any way like, screw you, mom. She was never like that. And I could see that now, but I could not see that then. Because again, there was so much uncertainty. I didn't know if Willie was coming back home alive. I didn't know if Fully was coming back home with all of his limbs. I didn't know if he was going to come back home mentally stable. I had no idea how he was going to come back home or even if he was going to come back home. And I knew for a fact I was doing all of these things by myself. But it got so bad that I remember I got so pissed. I ended up, Aaliyah had this huge box of like makeup. You all know Aaliyah's like totally a fashionista. And I remember grabbing that big box of makeup and I remember throwing it away. She was crying so hard, so hard. I didn't know that there were gift certificates in that box. I didn't even let her talk to me. I was so pissed. I wasn't, I didn't know. I had no clue. But because my goal was to be this super mom, and that was my primary focus to be this super mom, I didn't know that my way towards being a super mom, what I thought was a super mom, I didn't know that that path that I wanted to emulate so badly was actually a path that would, how do I say this? It was the wrong path. My goal was to be a super mom, but that was not that. I'm going to tell you right now, that should have never been the goal. Um, that should have never been the goal. I don't even know in what other way to say it. One thing that Matthew Perry, I read his book, he says you have to have all your dreams come true to realize they're the wrong dreams. And I don't know if that makes sense to you, if that's even correlated, but I'm going to make it happen. Like my dream was to be a super mom, but yet the way I was going about it was the wrong way. I didn't know. And so this is why being a super mom, that super mom syndrome is so unhealthy because it I don't want to discourage any of you because if that's your goal, cool, but just pay attention to how you're going about doing it and pay attention to what you're doing and how you're doing it because I'm going to tell you right now it's not effort. It's it's not effortlessly, yeah, by any means. And it takes a lot of work. But to be a true super mom, it's to recognize that you're going to be a super mom in the midst of chaos. You're going to be a super mom that messes up. And the reason why you're a super mom is because you embrace vulnerability. You recognize when you're wrong and you're able to learn and grow from it. That would make you a super mom. A super mom is not a clean household. It's not being able to manage it all perfectly. I'm going to tell you right now, sometimes it goes well, sometimes it doesn't. And that right there, that right there makes me a super mom is I'm aware that I don't have it all together and I'm probably never going to have it all together. And that's okay because that's not my goal anymore. And so I want you to pay attention to like where you're at and be honest with yourself. Is this even realistic? Is this something you could even manage? Is this something you want to attain? And if so, pay attention to how you're going about it because we're not getting any younger, right? If we're not getting any younger and those stress lines, they're showing, they're starting to show up. Are you a high achieving woman feeling the weight of success, yet struggling to find balance in your personal and professional life? If your mind is constantly racing with endless to-dos, family demands, and the unspoken competition between career and marriage, you're not alone. It's time to peel back the layers and address the deep-rooted challenges. You've tried it all: vacations, bedtime schedules, restructuring your calendar, and heartfelt conversations with your husband. Despite your best efforts, the struggle persists, leaving you feeling unheard and stuck in a cycle of frustration. I get it. I've been there too. But here's the game changer. Empower X with me, a 4-month invite-only experience crafted exclusively for high-achieving women like you. This meticulously curated group is your sanctuary for support, knowledge sharing, and a community committed to scaling businesses while enriching family life. Picture this: virtual mastermind meetings with a sprinkle of coaching every 3 weeks, lasting 2 hours, where you'll engage in deep dives into your challenges. It's a space for high-impact skill sharing, fostering growth, and unlocking breakthroughs in both your personal and professional life. As if that's not exciting enough, Empower X features an exclusive in-person retreat hosted by me in San Diego. Imagine practical workshops, meaningful connections, and a chance to strengthen our community bonds in a breathtaking beach setting. And the support doesn't stop there. With continuous access to our private messaging channel, you're just a message away from the guidance, advice, and camaraderie you need, including direct interaction with me. Ready to break free from the cycle and embrace a life where success doesn't come at the cost of your well-being. Apply now to Empower X. It's time to prioritize your aspirations, enhance your marriage, and approach motherhood with newfound confidence and support. Your journey to intentional living starts here. Go to veronicacisneros.org/EmpowerX. Again, that's veronicacisneros.org/EmpowerX. I'm so excited to meet you. Let's go to myth number 3, comparison trap. Comparing oneself to other moms on social media or in the community, feeling inadequate or not measuring up. Holy shit. By a raise of hands, who here is guilty of this? My hand's raised. All right, this is what I want you to do with your hand. This is what I want you to do with your hand. I want you to wrap it around. Wrap it around. Wrap it around you, and then grab the other one and wrap that one around you too. You are enough. You always have been. It's not until you realize that statement will be true. We have no idea what other people are going through. And I told you, I raised my hand. I'm guilty of this myself. But I guess, why do we do this? Why do we compare ourselves to other people? Well, I know the reason why I do it. I look at the stay-at-home moms, especially that one chick. Who is that one chick that is making their baby? She was pregnant. You guys know who I'm talking about. It's on TikTok. She's pregnant and she's like making all of these things from scratch and like making bread. Like my kids wanted I forgot what she said. My kids wanted cocoa puffs, so I went ahead and made them from scratch. I'm like, what the hell? How the what? I'm not gonna lie. Totally watched that entire TikTok because it was like, I didn't even know you could make cocoa puffs or whatever the hell, cinnamon toast crunch. She also made cinnamon toast crunch. Like, homegirl deserves an award. She was pregnant and did all of these things. But I think about that stuff, especially when Brooklyn brought it to my attention. Brooklyn does not have TikTok. Um, but yeah, she's like, Mom, look at this lady does this. And I was like, okay, thank you for making me feel smaller as a mom. I didn't say that out loud, but I thought it. But yeah, I'm like, how the hell does she have time? And then sometimes in session, or like not in session, but sometimes like while I'm here in the office, I think about, you know what? The girls don't drink enough water. I wonder if I cut up some strawberries and put some like mint leaves in it. I wonder if then they'll drink it. And I'm thinking, well, when the hell would I ever get water, cut up strawberries, and put mint leaves in it? Then I'm like, well, that's so easy to do. Homegirl's pregnant and she does it. Why can't I do it? Right? Like that right there is the perfect example of me comparing myself to other moms. And then I think about like, have you ever been around somebody else's kids and they're like totally calm, well mannered, and they work really hard for their money. Um, there's like all of these things. And okay, not me, not you, just me. Okay, fine, awesome. Um, but yeah, like I've done that where it's like, what the hell is she doing that I'm not doing? That right there. What is she doing that I'm not doing? Why do we ask ourselves that question? Well, one of the primary reasons why we ask ourselves that question is because we want we want to have some form of instructions or some form of guidance in how do we do this right? What are they doing? So I can start emulating that. But the reality is, something I've learned in motherhood, especially being a therapist and hearing other kids, your kids, maybe, open up about their struggles with their parents, with you guys, right? And then I've also heard you, I've also heard your fears, heard your concerns, and then some of the issues that come up because you don't have the tools to address these issues. We're going to have to figure this out. And yes, we can have guidance. Think about it that way. I can learn how to do this and I don't have to emulate it. I don't have to do it that same way, but I can go ahead and make my own way and create it. And for me, that strawberry mint water that I want to have in my house, is it going to happen? Probably, as long as I put it on my calendar. That's just my reality. That is my reality. If I put it on my calendar or if I set an alarm. Matter of fact, I'm gonna do that shit right now because if not, I'm gonna forget. And it's something I really want to do. And Veronica, are you gonna do this shit? Yeah, I am. Hey Siri, set an alarm for 9 p.m. tonight to make strawberry mint water. Okay, it's totally happening. And I have an alarm clock. That's how I do things. I'm not shitting you. Like literally, that's oh, Siri's still listening to me. That's how I do things. Why? Because that's what works. That's what works for me. And it's something I really want to do. And now that I put it on my set it up as an alarm clock, it's going to totally happen. You're welcome. You're welcome for that free tip. If anybody uses it, or if people are like, oh my God, Veronica's crazy. It's my reality. I have to put it in my calendar. Otherwise, the day's going to get the best of me. I have to put it in as an alarm clock. Otherwise, the day is going to get the best of me. And yes, this is something I want to do. However, I got other shit to do. I got decisions to make, really big grown up decisions to make. And so, yes, this is beautiful. This is amazing. Am I going to do it? Probably not. if it's not on my calendar or not as a reminder. So mamas, the minute you go into comparison, like, okay, she does this better than I do, stop. And instead, what I want you to do is I want you to think about, I was just given an idea that I can use or I can throw away or I can recreate and make it my own. Is it going to be the same results? Probably not. Who gives a shit? Make it your way. Make it your way. All right, myth number 4. I'm going to drink another sip. Oh, that's so good. That was sparkling yuzu white peach. I don't know where to get it at, but I took a picture of it and I sent it to Willie because that's another thing I do. The chances of me buying this, there's going to be too much shit happening. So Willie's all into like new stuff. So I'll just send it to Willie and then Willie will figure it out, order it, and it'll be at our house. All right, myth number 4, sacrificing self for others. Oh my goodness. You guys got to knock this shit off. You guys got to knock this shit off. You got to knock it off. I see it every day. Where? In here. All of the time. I see it in here all of the time. Where am I pointing? In my office. I'm in my office right now. I see this happen all of the time. Everyone, every single person is looking for the approval of someone else. Hey, you know what? I'm guilty of it too. I'm guilty. I've been guilty of it too. And what I've had to realize is the other person is not ever going to celebrate me or is not going to see me the way I want them to see me. Why? Because they're coming from a different lens. They have either unhealed past trauma, they have things that they have not resolved yet, or maybe they're not in a place where they can see anybody's success. And that's okay. We've all been there too. But that right there, sacrificing self for others. The idea that mothers must sacrifice their own needs and desires for the sake of their children, neglecting self-care and personal fulfillment. All right, you guys are all going to think I'm a shitty mom. And you know what? I could give two shits. I'm going to share with you this story. Every single time, if Willie was here, he'd be like, "Yep, I almost want to call him. I'm not." But every single time we go to Disneyland or we go to a mall or go somewhere, and we know we're going to spend all day or we're out on a family day. Every single time, we'll tell the girls, make sure you pack a jacket. Do they pack a jacket? No, they don't pack no goddamn. They don't pack the jacket. They don't. I pack a jacket because I know I'm going to be cold. I don't do well in the cold. I hate being cold. Willie packs his jacket. We both pack our jacket, right? Like it's there, it's in the car, it's happening. Well, then it gets cold. And then guess who's complaining? The kids. The kids are complaining. And there we are. We take off our jackets and we give the kids the jackets, pissed off the entire time because I was prepared. You weren't prepared. I was prepared. Not this last track meet. I told the girls that it was going to be cold. Willie gave them the weather, what the weather temperature was going to be. And Willie put a blanket. I'm going to give you props, Willie, because I know he's going to listen to this and be like, I put the blanket on the bed. He put the blanket on the bed. I took the blanket with us to the track meet. So we go to this track meet. And of course, my girls are in shorts because the UV was supposed to be like at a 7 or a 9. I forgot what it was. Mom, the UV is going to be, oh, okay, fine. Hang out with your shorts. I'm going to be in my pants. We get there and guess what? Freezing. Did I share my blanket? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Did they share this? They had a blanket. I didn't share it because they had a blanket, but my blanket was a lot thicker than theirs. And I don't do good in the cold. And I wanted them to learn, like, this is the consequence to not listening. And I've done this so many times. I'm not going to share this blanket. Is this myth wrapped around this example? Kind of. Let's take it even further. I can't tell you how many women will say that they can't pursue their dreams. They can't pursue their goals because what would that do to their kids? I'm going to tell you right now what it will do to your kids. It will teach them that their mom can do hard things.
It will teach them independence. You'll be their role model. And yes, is there sacrifice? 1,000%. You're the one that gets to determine how much sacrifice there is, but it can't come at your own cost. So, right now, grab a pen and paper. And if you don't have a pen and paper already, I mean, okay, fine, fine. It's probably your first time listening to this episode. But for all of you vets, for all of you girl gang members, you already know we need a pen and paper whenever we listen to these podcast episodes because I'm gonna give you some tips. So this is an exercise I want you to do right now. Yes, right now, unless you're driving or working out, get you. Do you. But if you're not, I want you to think about why. Why is it so important that you sacrifice yourself for others? So write down why. My next question, who did you learn this from? Who'd you learn this from? Was it a message you received from your parents that in order to be a good person, you have to sacrifice yourself? Was it what you seen in the home? Did you see mom sacrificing herself? Did you see dad sacrificing himself to meet the needs of the family? Where did you learn this from? Or who did you hear this from? And then my next question, what are you neglecting? What are you neglecting? And then, yes, I know you're doing this from the goodness of your heart. I get it. But at what cost? At what cost? Which leads me to my next myth, guilt and shame. Myth number 5, feeling guilty or ashamed for not meeting societal or cultural expectations of motherhood, leading to self doubt and anxiety and its best friend, depression. My goal is no longer to meet societal or cultural needs, cultural expectations. My goal is to show up as the best version of myself for myself. Why? Because my kids will benefit from it. It took me a long time to realize that my kids have the advantage of having an exceptional mom, not perfect, an exceptional mom because I'm exceptional and I show up for myself first. Do I do it perfectly? No, 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 it's all kinds of messed up. However, it's my version. And I get to embrace who I am and who I'm not. And so my kids get to see that. And my kids get to see that I'm a flawed human being. And that right there is so important. So, how do we break the myths and embrace imperfection? It starts with self compassion and letting go of unrealistic expectations. So, really quickly, I'm going to go over some steps. Step number 1, cultivate self compassion. Practice self kindness and understanding, recognizing that no one is perfect and it's okay to make mistakes. Matter of fact, you're going to learn from those mistakes. Failure is a lesson. Like, I want you to switch that in your vocabulary. Failure is a lesson. You know, like I was saying, I was talking to my sister the other day or today, and we think about like all the times we really messed up, and it's like, hold on. Instead of saying I totally fucked up, right? Instead of saying that, I want you to pause and I want you to ask yourself, did you really mess that up, or is it something unhealthy that you did? Think about it there, unhealthy or healthy. Because the minute we're able to determine, wait a minute, this was unhealthy, guess what? You get to pivot. You get to pivot. Like you have that opportunity to pivot. The minute we go into, I fucked up, I really messed that one up, right? We go into all of this negative self talk and it stays there. It's not so easy to pivot because we feel like, well, I already messed that one up. I can't come back from it. The reality of it is, you can. Self compassion is so important. And again, I don't do this perfectly at all. And if you were to follow me throughout the day, you'd be like, Veronica talks to herself. Yeah, I do. I talk to myself. I'll coach myself through things. Hold on. You're overwhelmed right now. Take a time out. Take a time out. Like, just give it a breath. Give it a breath. You're under a lot of pressure. There's a lot of things riding on you. There's a lot of decisions you have to make right now. Before we go into this loop, before we go onto this roller coaster ride, just stop. You're doing a good job. I have said those words to myself exactly. I do that. And I do that the most when I'm working out. I do that the most. Willie, one time, okay, don't tell him I told you this. This is a secret between you and I. One time, Willie and I were working out, and oh my God, I was doing, to me, it was crazy hard, but whatever. And so I'm doing it right. And I'm like, okay, you got this. Just do one more. You got this. Keep it going. Keep it going. There you go. Willie thought, he swore I was talking to him. He swore I was talking to him. I wasn't. I was talking to myself. Uh, Step number 2, set realistic expectations. Okay, hold on, because your realistic is different from the average person. What is humanly possible? Working a 46-hour day in 24 hours is not humanly possible. So bring it back. Write this down. Write it down. Set realistic expectations. Focus on what truly matters and prioritize self, boundaries, and balance. You don't know how to do that? Guess what? I got you. I will teach you. Step number 3, celebrate uniqueness. Embrace your unique strengths, quirks, and imperfections, knowing that they make you a wonderful mother. I'm going to say that again. Embrace your unique strengths, quirks, and imperfections, knowing that they make you a wonderful mother. That right now, that right there makes you so unique and different from the rest. And that's exactly what your babies need from you. Step number 4, build supportive communities. Surround yourself with supportive friends, family, and communities that uplift and empower you. This right here is one of the primary reasons why I created the group Empower X, because we need it. We all need it. We need to be around high achieving women who are able to embrace and share their wins. We're able to celebrate together. We're able to really, really uplift one another. Next step, reframe guilt and shame. Challenge negative self-talk and replace it with positive affirmations and self-validations. Again, you don't know how to do that? That's all right. I will teach you. And the community, the group of women will be there for you. For more information about that, go to veronicacisneros.org/empowerx. Again, veronicacisneros.org/empowerx. Let me say that again because I know I totally messed it up. www.veronicacisneros.org/empowerx. There we go. Let's create your own truth in motherhood. One that is not oh my God, I can't even read that. Let's create your own truth in motherhood. One that is not dictated by society or culture, but is rooted in authenticity, self-love, and acceptance. When we let go of the myth of perfection, we open up ourselves to a world of beauty in imperfection and the joy of being true to who we really are. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. I hope this discussion has encouraged you to embrace imperfection in motherhood, prioritize self-compassion, and let go of unrealistic expectations. Remember, you are enough just as you are. Until next time, take care and continue to embrace the imperfectly perfect journey. Oh my God, that was a tongue twister of motherhood. Okay, real quick. I think I'm going through like perimenopause because I've gotten brain fog and my words get all jumbled. Does that happen to you or is it just me? I don't know. I don't know. Like it's crazy. Like, and I know brain fog's one of them. All right, that's it. All right, we're done. The episode's done. Love you guys. Make sure to share this with a friend. We're all going through this.
Raise your hand if you are ready to level up your marriage for 2023. Do you find that you're spending your time together with your husband checked out and in front of the TV? I know you're ready for tangible strategies that actually get you results. Reignite the spark in your marriage, have fun, and grow together. Well, I hope you have your hand raised at this minute because I have something special for you. I'm introducing my brand new 6-question marriage predictor quiz that's gonna give you personalized results to catapult you into the next stage of your marriage journey. That means you'll receive the results to where your marriage can get the best help. If you've got just 1 minute, head to veronicacisneros.org/quiz. Again, that's veronicacisneros.org/quiz, and you could take my brand new quiz, Marriage Predictor. Get your results delivered right to your email address. Again, that's veronicacisneros.org/quiz, veronicacisneros.org/quiz. What's up, ladies? Just want to let you guys know that your ratings and reviews for this podcast are greatly appreciated. If you love this podcast, please go to iTunes right now, write a review, rate the episode, and subscribe. Don't forget to share it with your friends.
Oh, hey, it's Erin.
And I'm Michaela, and we're the hosts of the Two Sober Girls podcast, and we are on a mission to spill the wild truth about sobriety.
Forget the rosé all day cliche. Sobriety is flipping amazing.
Absolutely. It's not just about quitting the drink. It's a gift you give yourself and your loved ones.
So what are you waiting for? Break up with that old toxic relationship with alcohol and let us show you the possibilities.
And here's the thing. Everything your precious heart desires becomes way easier without the influence of alcohol.
We're not just two sober girls, we're also wellness coaches. We're here to show you how to optimize health, lifestyle, and beauty, feel sexy and alive as F.
So stay tuned because we're rolling out new episodes every Monday wherever you get your podcasts, and trust us, they have your name written all over them. We can't wait to share the magic of sobriety and wellness with you. Subscribe to Two Sober Girls podcast today and come follow us on Instagram for behind the scenes action and send us a DM. We can't wait to meet you.